Soon the flames will fade, and only dark will remain. Even now, there are only embers, and man sees not light, but only endless nights.
The Book of the Guilty. This book, overseen by Velka, goddess of sin, contains the names of those who have trespassed against the gods. Those unfortunate enough to find their names added to this list will one day face punishment at the hands of Gwyndolin and his servants, the Blades of the Dark Moon. But why exactly would a rogue goddess want to perform such a task? Why would a goddess, whose pardoners carry blades imbued with the anti-godkin enchantment of the occult, wish to strike down those who have sinned against Gwyn and the other deities? Long ago, Velka, like many deities, took up residence in Anor Londo, the ever-bright city of Gwyn and his family. Even then, she was the goddess of sin, meting out punishment to those who dared work against the Age of Fire and the gods who ruled it. She was powerful, even among the ranks of the gods, with many an uncanny ability. Velka could cast temporary curses on others, curses that would, as if of their own volition, punish those afflicted if they attempted to sin. This power would eventually be passed to her followers, becoming known as karmic justice, a lesser variation of the goddess's ability, but one that the lesser beings who wielded it could make swift use of. Casting it upon themselves, this miracle would bestow Velka's divine guidance to them, lashing out at their enemies. She was also gifted with creating fields of territory, enchanting a fixed area with her power, causing others' power to fail them should they enter this space. This too was granted to her most gifted and loyal worshippers, becoming the lesser miracle, Vow of Silence, which blankets the caster in her power, bringing about the same effect on their enemies. Her beauty, cunning, and power did not go unnoticed. Gwyn, the Lord of Sunlight, taken with the goddess of sin, enjoyed many a tryst with her beneath the notice of his wife and children. Who would dare question him, even should this be discovered? He was the Lord of Sunlight, King of the gods. He could do as he pleased. Velka, of course, became pregnant, giving birth to a frail boy, tiny for a godkin, most especially for a son of Gwyn himself. Weak, deformed, his legs from the knees down comprised of serpents, perhaps due to being a product of deceit and infidelity. Velka named him
Gwyndolin.
The secret could not be kept forever, and Gwyndolin was discovered as a young boy. Due to the ire of Gwyn's wife and the other deities beginning to see Velka as a threat, the goddess was exiled from Anor Londo, and her child taken from her. Though this would not be the last time Gwyndolin saw his mother. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Velka and her followers took to wandering, spreading their doctrine of faith and amassing power and influence. When Lord Gwyn left to bolster the First Flame and save his Age of Fire, Velka returned. The Firstborn had been exiled, the same as her, and while he had no intention of taking up her cause, at the very least, he would not be a deterrent. Velka approached her child. For years she had been watching him from afar, and visiting him in secret when she could. She had watched him grow, watched Gwyn poison him against her, brainwash him and twist him. Her son was lost to her, and she knew it. But, perhaps. The black-haired witch Velka was cunning and deceitful, using sweet words and offering Gwyndolin the affection he could never admit to craving. She dug her claws deep into his psyche. Convincing him she was reformed, she planted the idea of forming his own covenant into the young god's head. A covenant to punish the wicked, to protect the Age of Fire. This, of course, was a deception. Gwyndolin and his blades were allowed access to the goddess's Book of the Guilty, Velka bestowing a copy to her son. Whatever was written in her book would also appear in his. An eternal bond and covenant between mother and son. Satisfied with this, Gwyndolin agreed, and Velka bid him farewell. Now, Velka keeps watch on the world, adding names to her book, names that can only be erased by death, and of course, by offering souls to Velka's partners, and therefore Velka herself, one can be forgiven, their names erased. This arrangement also made it a simple task to find new worshippers. It was so easy. You commit a trespass, and the benevolent goddess Velka will forgive your sins, keeping the blades at bay in her infinite kindness. Those who joined her were granted a small lock of her hair, allowing them to cast miracles with the power of their mind rather than faith, a blatant mockery of her fellow deities. Gwyndolin, naive as he was, never truly understood what was happening. Or perhaps he did, and simply wished to believe otherwise. Wishing to believe his mother was good. Wishing to believe his mother loved him, just as he wished, even at the end, to believe that the things he had done were right. But Gwyndolin was not her only child. There were others. There were 3.